The popular horror icon from the 90s returns to haunt those who've said his name 5 times while looking in the mirror. Directed by Nia DaCosta and produced by Jordan Peele, who also co-wrote the film, Candyman is a semi-sequel/reboot that continues on from the original film of the same name, released in 1992. Candyman is a sequel/reboot that continues on from the original film of the same name, released in 1992, ignoring the original 2 sequels. But does the new film capture what made the original popular, or is it another Hollywood cash grab by tapping into nostalgia? Starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Anthony McCoy, an up-and-coming artist living with his girlfriend and director of the art gallery displaying his work, Brianna, played by Teyonah Parris, Anthony is struggling to find inspiration for his next work, when one night he and Brianna are spending time with Brianna's brother Troy and his boyfriend. Troy shares with them the story of Helen Lyle, who died at the Cabrini Green housing projects in the 90s. Though these are the events of the original Candyman film, time has turned them into an urban legend, and the story, as Troy tells it, depicts Helen as attempting to sacrifice a child and being burned alive for it. As Anthony begins to wander the neighborhood where the Cabrini Green projects once stood, he also learns the myth of Candyman, though he soon learns there's more than one iteration of the Candyman myth as well. As Anthony ventures further down the rabbit hole, more and more people are killed, and Anthony discovers a shocking connection to Helen Lyle and Candyman. Candyman as a horror film does justice to the legacy of the original series, and as a horror movie is actually better made than any previous film in the franchise. Nia DaCosta shows great promise as a director and aptitude for the horror genre. With Candyman being only her second film, coming after her debut film, Little Woods, a 2018 crime thriller that also received high praise, DaCosta shows she knows how to craft scenes full of tension. Her ability to impart upon the audience a sense of unease through visual storytelling alone places Candyman as possibly the scariest film of the franchise. Where the film flounders, however, is not in its technical execution. While production value, visual effects, and even acting are all solid, the film falls flat. This can solely be placed upon its story, and it is this, and only this, that creates a divisive film. While Candyman has been praised by the majority of film critics and has a solid fan base, it also alienated many viewers as well with an overly political story. While this is not a turnoff for many viewers, it will be and has been for just as many others. While it's nothing new for Hollywood to make politically driven films, it is off-putting when a film, especially a franchise film, that had little or no political intent, is inexplicably forced into becoming a political statement. Yes, the original Candyman does touch on social injustices, and these aspects of the character are important to the series. But while the original 90s film displays these injustices in a more realistic and factual manner, the 2021 film takes things to an extreme that is unrealistic and honestly quite disturbing. Blatantly inspired by current events, the film is unabashed in the delivery of its message, which makes sense as its narrative is one Hollywood stands behind wholeheartedly, despite the fact that certain points of view even contradict the original film. No one is claiming that injustice doesn't exist in society, because it does. Candyman, however, showcases a reality where no single Chicago police officer has a redeeming quality, then sets up a homicidal character who originally had no preference on who his victims were, so long as they chanted his name 5 times in the mirror, into a social hero that takes vengeance out on those who perpetrate racism. Not only does this make a horror icon no longer scary, but should a film promote a mass murderer as a hero? There will be plenty who disagree with this review and plenty more who enjoy the film, and that's okay. If you're looking for solid horror, Candyman is great, and if you can look past a contrived and overly political plot, you'll enjoy the film just fine. But unfortunately, the film just felt forced, too contradictory of its predecessor, and too narratively false for me to get behind. I give Candyman 2 out of 4 stars.